This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Boy, we've seen this fella a little bit lately, and speaking of the opposite of white hot, here's Nighthawk taking on
Tony Zane,
a stupid ass Stan, Miss Cleo here.
Yeah.
Nighthawk, man, we've seen some promos. Now we're seeing him in the ring.
Yeah,
I understand the idea behind having a guy who looks like this. Not only is he an imposing looking figure, he's a big dude, he's in good shape, he's got a good look, but he's also African American, and you're trying to sell tickets, and you know that Bill Watts has absolutely set his territory on fire with the Junkyard Dog. You've got Pistol Pez Watley here. Eventually we're going to see Ron Simmons come in, but right now we've got the Nighthawk experiment, and although he may check a lot of boxes, boy, promos are not one of them.
No.
But we still get questions about him. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've had questions on our show about Nighthawk. Do you have any Nighthawk stories you can share with us at all?
I don't, with the exception of, I do remember this. I remember we talked about his promos, about him doing promos, and he would ask me many times, did you think that sounded okay? And I said, and I tried to be as polite as I could. And I said, yeah, you probably do need to do some work, and you probably should, check with someone other than me, because I don't do promos. I just kind of hold the microphone for you. And I was, he was a gentleman, and someone like him who would always, who would ask me now today, here, 100 years later, I can give you some advice on doing promos, but back in 1986, I really couldn't.
What would your advice be these days?
My advice these days would be to do this. My advice would be to look in the fucking camera, and Nighthawk, Coltrane didn't do that a lot. He looked at me. I said, don't talk to me, talk to the people. And that's what all the great ones did. And you see Jimmy Garvin doing that. You see right now, Jimmy Garvin will kind of reference me a little bit, but he'll talk to the camera.
Right.
And that's how you got to do it. And it's oddly enough, Magnum TA and I have talked about this. As a matter of fact, when Magnum came to I guess it was the second Starrcast in Vegas.
Yeah.
He and I talked about doing promos. And Magnum said, you have to look in the camera. He said, but not only look in the camera, look through the camera and talk to the person watching the show. And he said, that's what I always try to do. I always try to focus on that. And Magnum focused on that more than anybody else. And he was very good at that. So that's what I would say. I would say, don't talk to me, talk to the people, and try to get the people to identify with you. And Night Train didn't do that. He looked at me, and then he just kind of referenced the camera. He did the complete opposite. And then I would just tell them to start out being yourself and build on it. Perfect example is Eddie Kingston.
Oh yeah, Eddie Kingston's the best one of the best promos in wrestling.
And that's because he looks in the camera, he talks to the people or whomever's watching, and he is who he is. Ric Flair was who he was. He has his personality be part of his persona, big part of his persona. So that's what advice I give him today. And I do listen to a number of promos, and I do give advice. But back then, no, when they asked me for advice, I would hand it off to someone else.
Sure. That's been well established.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.